Hi, Good Life, your neighborhood friendly death planner here. So in this video, I'm going to talk about death certificates. I know, death certificates. What is a death certificate? How is a death certificate filled out? Everything about a death certificate. So everybody knows what a death certificate is. It is the certificate that you receive after death. Everybody dies, everybody has a death certificate, right? Well, in comparison, a death certificate is a lot like the birth certificate in life. A birth certificate, you're born, you get a birth certificate, and it leads you through your entire life. It enables you to go to school, do Social Security. It enables you for everything. A death certificate is the same thing, but for your living and your estate, your children, your next of kin, and stuff like that. So a death certificate is needed after death, and a lot of places do not take copies. So it has to be the original stamped, where you can feel that seal or have the seal placed on it. And those will be given to you usually by your funeral home. Your funeral, lovingly, the staff will ask you or ask your family. If you're pre-planning, you can pre-plan for death certificates too, how many death certificates they will need. Now, with death certificates, you're going to want to think about how many things you have that will need a death certificate. So you have your insurances, being your asset insurances, life insurances, any types of banking CDs, bonds, anything that's tied up. A bank will need to see a death certificate. It will also be used sometimes to turn off utilities, a transfer of a deed for your home, insurances, sometimes to transfer insurance or to stop insurance. I've seen some housing for leases and such for apartments to cancel that. They need to see a death certificate. Social Security is going to need a death certificate. Death certificate for you, death certificate for you, death certificate for you. So death certificates are very important. So let's talk about exactly what a death certificate is and how you can get one. So there is what we call an MCOD. It's a medical cause of death. It's basically a certificate that is signed by your physician, usually, if it's a natural death, that states the medical cause of death, MCOD. For instance, high blood pressure, or if they put cardiac arrest, or cardiac arrest due to respiratory therapy failure, it will be flagged, as what we call it. So what I mean by that is, it is the reasoning for your death. Now, in our state, we have medical examiners. In other states, they have coroners. What's the difference? I'll do another video on it, but for this brief moment, for death certificates, it is medical examiners are physicians, doctors, MDs, DOs, and coroners are elected officials. They can still be physicians, but they're elected. However, medical examiners are strictly physicians. So with that said, the only time a medical examiner is going to sign a death certificate is if it's not a matter of natural or there is no primary care physician. What I mean by that is, if you die of natural causes, they will request your physician to sign the death certificate, your primary care physician. There are some specialists out there, oncologists, some cardiac physicians that will sign off on death certificates if they have had long-term regular care with you. That can happen. However, this is where I want to give a huge informational and shout out to all the great physicians out there in any occupation. This is the deal. Emergency care physicians they only see these people for 2.2 seconds. I mean, it's longer than that, but in the realm of things. In the medical education aspect, it is my personal opinion, but I'm sure you'll agree with me. They spent maybe 2.2 hours with you on death certificates. I have run across in my career by speaking to numerous other physicians and such that there's a liability. I don't know how they died. I wasn't with them. There's a medical record. If you have medical records within usually 2 years, you are expected to sign the death certificate. If there is a coroner or a medical examiner on scene during that, or it's through a facility, usually the in-house doctors will sign it if they're on a floor, or if they're in a nursing home or a care facility, that facility overseeing physician will sign it. Long and the short is, don't be afraid to sign a death certificate. Look up their history. If they have COPD, emphysema, chronic, if they have chronic issues, then that is what is a decent cause of death. So many primary care physicians that I've spoken to are like nervous of it. They think there's some kind of liability. There is no liability. The liability is within the information. If all you know at that time is that this person has died, either the coroner or the medical examiner or a nursing staff will tell you why, and it's a good report and you're comfortable with it, then help the family out by signing the death certificate. The reason why I'm so strong on this is because it holds things up. You need a death certificate for things to happen, to take care of that individual. So does it happen where all of a sudden the brother's cousin's sister's brother calls and says, wait a minute, so-and-so tried to murder Uncle Jim last week? Yes, it does. But the liability does not fall on you. That would be investigated either by police or the medical examiner's office or coroner's office. That doesn't mean because you signed the death certificate, it's all going to come back on you. It doesn't work that way. I wish that they would give you guys more, structure and take that fear away. I think that it's coming around. I think that the education aspect of death certificates is getting better. Okay, I regress. So within death certificates, there are different areas that you as an individual for your own death certificate can answer better than anybody else. It's called statistical information. And it is anywhere between 25 to maybe 35, 40 questions that need to be answered. They are statistical information. They are ancestry, male, female, gender appropriate. I'm sure they are becoming. They are to tell about you, about who you were at the time of death. A huge one that people don't understand is your mother's maiden name, because then it gets into the ancestry and different lineage type of things of who belongs with who and good stuff like that. But it will ask you occupation, it'll ask you education, it'll ask you family. There's a lot. Where were you married? Are you divorced? Are you widowed? What town you were married in, where you were born in. All of this information is needed. So a medical cause of death, an MCOD, is signed by a doctor, and then that is taken only to a licensed funeral home director, and that is who fills out the rest of the death certificate. So there's a lot that goes into a death certificate, and the death certificate is super, super important. I believe that one day, vital statistics with their records and such through the clerk's office will be even more tapped into, like, say, Ancestry.com and different platforms like that, so that you can see the lineage of families, because that's important too. So we will talk more about the manners and who signs and the difference between a coroner and a medical examiner in a different video. But for now, there is a lot of information that is needed for death certificates that pre-planning can help you with so that your family is not losing their mind looking for it after you're gone. I hope that helped. Death certificates are hugely important. So have your best day and definitely take care of you.